Hey swashbucklers, our friends in Now Forget That metal swashbuckling storytelling band from Buenos Aires presents their new single, The Black Corsair. It's the opening track on their upcoming album based on the swashbuckling classic pirate novel by Emilio Salgari. Get the digital download of The Black Corsair now at underthecrossbones.com/corsair. Raise the sails! Turn it up, swashbucklers. You're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 34. My name is Phil Johnson. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling your friends, all that kind of good stuff. As you can hear, still have a head cold. As I mentioned on the last episode, I'm knocking a couple of these out in a row here, even though you're hearing them on your regular Tuesday morning schedule. I am knocking out a couple in a row because I am currently, as you're listening to this, I am in Vancouver, Canada, on vacation, which doesn't happen very often, with my girlfriend for her birthday. And if I get near a laptop when we are on vacation, she gets angry with me. And so we're having a wonderful time. I'm going to assume that my shows in Canada went fantastic. My headlining shows at Laugh Lines, I'm sure they were great. And next week, I will tell you if they actually were. But let's assume that they were. They're all good. And you can hear, still got a head cold, still having fun with that. I'm still here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at the moment, smelling the lovely oatmeal factory, the Quaker Oats factory, and all that kind of fun stuff. My guests on the show, fun fact, episode number 34. You can find the show notes at underthecrossbones.com/034. Fun fact about 34, on the internet, there is the Rule 34. And Rule 34 is that if it exists, there is porn of it, no exceptions. And I will tell you, as somebody who dealt in that area of the web for a good 7 or 8 years, that's true. That's a true statement. If it exists, there is porn out there of it. My guests on the show today are two men who I think we can owe a lot of this pirate existence to, and that is Mark Summers and John Baur, the progenitors, the creators of Talk Like a Pirate Day. And folks have been asking me when these guys are going to be on, and today's the day. I've got them. Captain Slappy and Old Chumbucket are on the show today. Talk Like a Pirate Day, as you know, is September the 19th of every year, and we're going to talk about, we're going to get into how it started, all the happy series of accidents that created it and kept it moving, and how it basically went viral. So this is a viral marketing lesson, if nothing else. Also, a lesson in how to make something happen without actually doing anything. So, as you'll hear in the interview, it's great. By the way, when you type the word Old Chumbucket, don't forget the C. Don't forget the H. Don't forget the H in Chumbucket, as I did as I was writing my notes for this show, which gave me a hearty laugh and kind of goes along with Rule 34. I hope there's no Captain Chumbucket porn out there. I really don't. Anyway, the guys, they've written a couple of books. They've written Piratitude. So you want to be a pirate, here's how. They've written The Pirate's Life, Unleashing Your Inner Buccaneer. And John Baur actually has a new book out called Chrissy Warren Pirate Hunter that we'll talk about. That sounds like it's a really fun book. And so make sure that you get that one. You know what I forgot to tell you in the last episode? I've got this rental car on this tour. It's a Scion. Decent little car. I always get whatever the cheapest car is because I'm driving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles usually. And they gave me, it's a brand new car. It had 84 miles on it when I got it. And there are quite a few more on it now. But here's one thing about weird new cars I don't get, and I ran into this when I was car shopping, is a lack of armrests. Now, when I went car shopping, I had lots of things in my brain that I had on my checklist of here's what I need in a car, right? And having to look for an armrest was not one of them. And every time we got in the car, there would be like no armrest for the driver, maybe one for the driver, but none for the passenger, right? And I've got my girlfriend with me all the time, so she wants an armrest too. Why is there a lack of armrests in cars? That seems like a stupid thing to leave out. Like just a little, just bring it down. Put it in an armrest. It can't possibly cost that much. So I'm driving around in this rental car, and I'm driving 2, 3, 4, 6 hours at a time, sometimes on this trip, and no armrest. So I keep leaning over to my left, because I can at least lean on the door armrest. But on the right, there's just nothing there, and I keep leaning over and keep falling over. So if you work for a car company and you're listening to this, please put freaking armrests in your cars. It doesn't make any sense to not have an armrest. And I suppose that's why they're shutting down the Scion business. It's the lack of armrests. I think if they just put an armrest in, they might have been able to save Scion. I think that's the clue. I think that's everything that's going on there. So if you want to find me on the road, lots more coming up. I will be in California for the next month, pretty much. April the 1st, I'll be at Bluefin Billiards in Monterey, California. April the 2nd, AppCal Winery in Madera, California. April the 8th, Sports Basement in San Francisco, California. Yep, weird, but they've got a little venue in there, and the shows are great. April the 9th, a rare hometown appearance at JJ's Blues in San Jose, California. All those are headlining shows, doing a bunch of headlining. I will have my voice back by then, and it will not sound so crummy. And if you want to get all my tour dates, just go to underthecrossbones.com and click the tour dates button. If you're enjoying the show, and I hope you are, I hope you will help support it in little ways, because it does take actually quite a bit of time to put these shows together for you. So if you want to do that, hit the support page on underthecrossbones.com/support, and there you can leave a little donation in the PayPal box. That's just straight up donate. If you click the Amazon banner there and buy yourself something nice, I get a little commission on that. Or if you want to be a sponsor of the show, it is dirt cheap. By the way, make sure you go get that Now Forget single, because they're our sponsor this week. And sponsoring Dirt Cheap, just get in contact with me if you've got something that you would like to advertise on the show and you think my audience would like. Let's do it up. All right. So let's. I'm gonna stop talking now and rest my voice. Have another vitamin C drop, another cup of throat coat tea, and let's get into this interview with the Talk Like a Pirate guys. See, my mouth's not even working because my brain's all fuzzy. I also forgot to tell you. I had to do a little bit of different stuff with the software on this one to get two people on all at the same time. So this one will sound a little bit different from the normal interview, but I think it's still good. It's still all good. All right, so let's get into it with Mark and John from TalkLikeAPirate.com. Here we go.
You guys are people that all my listeners have been asking when you're going to be on, so I'm really glad to have you here. And we need to go back. We need to dig in some history. Tell me how Talk Like a Pirate Day got started, and then we're going to go even back further in history.
Okay. Well, it's the only holiday we know of that started as a sporting injury. Old Chumbucket and I were playing racquetball, and
we thought we could get back in shape. You can see how well that worked.
As if we had ever been in shape. And we were playing, and one of us, and we can't remember which one, but one of us let out an R.
Uh-huh.
Something that strained, which was best left unstrained.
Yeah.
And from that point on in the game, we taunted each other using pirate phrases.
Okay.
Like, Ireland, a fine cannonade.
Right up the old porthole.
You flapped that one off me, mizzen mast, matey.
But as the game progressed, we realized we'd had more fun that day on the racquetball court than we ever had.
Uh-huh.
So we came to two conclusions. One, talk like a pirate, don't play racquetball.
Right.
And second, the world needed a holiday where every man, woman, and child on the planet was not just allowed, but encouraged to talk like a pirate.
That's great.
Now, the date of that racquetball game was, what was it, June 6th, 1995. And we couldn't sully the memory of D-Day with something as trivial as Talk Like a Pirate Day.
No, I suppose that would be a little uncouth.
So I said
we
to Mark,
settled on...
We need a day. And he said, without pause, without hesitation, he said...
let's use September 19th. It's my ex-wife's birthday, and I'm not using the day anymore.
It was stuck in his head, and so we used it.
I like it.
It was just a mnemonic device.
And later, when it ran in Dave Barry's column and brought us to the world's attention, she actually called me at home because she didn't have Mark's number anymore.
Uh-huh.
And he'd been on the run, so to speak. And at first she was, what's this about my birthday is some kind of pirate day? And I explained to her that we weren't being mean. We were just trying to find some way we'd remember it every year.
Right.
And when the conversation was over, she said, well, tell Mark I've never been so proud to be his ex-wife.
Ah, nice. She was on board, so to speak.
She She was on board. There was no plank in sight.
So you guys you go, okay, September 19th, we're going to have a pirate holiday, Talk Like a Pirate Day. And then what's the next step? What did you do from there?
Very little.
Well, John got right on it, and 6 years later, sent an email to Dave Barry.
Okay.
Yeah, sent an email to Dave Barry.
Dave wrote back and said, oh, it sounds fun, but what have you guys actually done to promote it?
Uh-huh.
And we had to admit, very little.
Well, up until that point, Talk Like a Pirate Day was a day that John and I and two other friends basically called each other at work and yelled "Arr!" into the phone and hanged up. That was it.
But then Dave's column ran in September 2002.
Uh-huh.
And we thought, well, wow, that's it. There's our 15 minutes of fame. It'll probably be over by sometime this afternoon.
Right.
People started paying attention, and we started getting phone calls. And before 10 days were up, we'd been on radio stations in Cleveland and Arizona and Ireland and Australia. And the sort of putting the cap on it that year was we were on NPR's All Things Considered.
Oh, wow.
And
they were apparently considering it.
Yeah.
Apparently this thing's got some legs. So we got a website. And
TalkLikeAPirate.com, plug the website.
Uh-huh.
Plug the website. And the next September, from September 1st to noon on September 19th, we received 19 million hits.
Wow.
And we don't know what the final tally was because we slagged our ISP's server.
Uh-huh.
They just kind of exploded. So it's been an odd voyage ever since, but every year we think, well, that's as good as it gets. And something even crazier happens.
That's interesting. So it was had you gone through, I know that to create an official day, there's sort of an official registration-y process that you can go through. Did you ever do that for this?
We had, what is it? Chase's Almanac is a publication that comes out every year that has all these weird holidays, and they approached us.
Oh, really?
Most of what we have done is just sit back with bemused smiles on our faces, and the world comes in. We go, okay, sure, yeah, we'll do that. We ended up performing in Las Vegas for a convention of faux painters, faux marble painters. I mean, that's not.
It was absolutely the most ridiculous thing ever.
Okay, wait, I have questions about this. So you were performing for home painters. Did they know they were getting a pirate show?
Yes,
they did. Okay,
they had actually contacted us to say, well, gosh, you guys seem to know something about pirates. Do you know any pirate acts? And I said, well, we could do a pirate act.
Yeah. Okay. And what did that act consist of?
They paid for us to go to Vegas and perform for them at their convention at the Venetian Hotel.
That's fantastic. What did the show consist of? What did you guys do?
It was mostly us getting drunk and making jokes at their expense.
Which is
it's like 110-degree weather around a pool.
Uh-huh. Nice.
With no microphone, because they were supposed to supply the microphone and they didn't.
Oh, that sounds like the typical
prime.
That sounds like the typical corporate gig. Yeah, no, that sounds like the typical corporate gig for sure. That yeah.
We definitely earned our money that day.
I have done those gigs, and yeah, they are not a load of fun. But you guys were even braver because you went in not really having a show, so that's even better.
No, by the time we got there, we had something like a show that we had to scrap.
Uh-huh.
We had to scrap what we'd planned because it involved them being able to hear us.
Right.
Fortunately, we had 11 rubber fish, a little tiny pool, and a whole lot of chutzpah.
and the faux marble painters were drunker than we were.
I imagine.
Turns out you don't have to be that creative to entertain drunk people.
No, yeah, I've learned that long ago. Depends on the gig, and if they're drunk enough, yeah, you really don't have to do much. They'll be thoroughly entertained if you just make funny faces at them like a baby.
So
let's go back a little ways. Where do you guys come from in the pre-pirate life?
we met when I auditioned for a part in a play at Albany Civic Theater here in Albany, Oregon.
Okay.
That John was directing.
What was the show?
It was called the Andersonville Trial.
Yeah, something really light and comedic.
About a Civil War prisoner camp.
Oh, yeah, nice. Sounds like a
lot
Ben.
of laughs. People went out tapping their toes.
It's a Ben Stiller vehicle.
So we met at the theater, and then we began doing things socially together. I'm originally from Seattle, and John, you're from Chicago, right?
Chicago originally.
Uh-huh.
So we ended up in Oregon. We just happened to meet, and all of a sudden we're playing racquetball and talking like pirates.
There was a lot to be said for the kind of training you get from being in amateur theatrics, and anything can happen and usually does. So we're fairly prepared to wing it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great training ground for that kind of stuff. And actually, now that I know that, it explains a lot about the way you've handled the whole pirate thing altogether. But what were you guys doing professionally before this became a thing?
I am a licensed clinical social worker. I am a behavior consultant, working with children K through 12 in school.
Oh wow, okay. Do they know?
They do now. I'm covered with tattoos.
Okay.
Well, we also like to think he's sort of sneaking in underground and recruiting through.
Don't tell your mom I told you to say R.
I tell them to behave, but don't get religious about it.
Nice. And John, what were you doing professionally?
I was and am a reporter, editor for just a whole string of small town newspapers. I'm now an editor for an online-only news service in the Virgin Islands.
Oh, wow.
The VI Source.
Nice. And okay, so between the theater background and the writing background, that explains a lot about all the other stuff that you guys have done around this. There's you wrote 2 books, right? What were those 2 books?
The 2 that we wrote were Piratitude and The Pirate Life. How to bring that piratitude, that sense of a pirate, into your daily life, in business, in dating, in physical fitness, so to speak. We're experts on physical fitness. and how nice it would be to have some.
Yeah, right.
We can identify physical fitness from a long ways away.
Yeah. Did people look at the author pictures on the back flap and go, wait a minute?
Wait a something's wrong here. But by then they'd already spent the money on the book, and so we were happy. At least someone was happy.
That's right.
So I imagine you were approached by a publisher to do those as well, since you guys seem not the proactive types for this.
Well, as a matter of fact, after the first big Talk Like a Pirate Day, when we got the 19 million hits, and we started talking, we should write a book. That'd be so funny. We'd write a book on how to talk like a pirate. And we talked about this for a couple of months, and finally my wife got tired of listening to us talk. So one night she got on the computer on my email account and sent out 25 queries to agents saying, I'm John Baur, co-creator of International Talk Like a Pirate Day. We have written a book, humorous book, about how to talk like a pirate. One of them wrote back and said, I'm going to be out of the office next week, but when I get back, I'd like to see that. Tori turned to us. My wife, Tori, turned to us and said, okay, guys, you got 10 days to write it.
Oh, my gosh. So not even a...
And we did.
That's amazing.
So the first draft was about 10 days.
Oh, wow. As somebody who's
It got better.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes. I'm on just finishing the first draft of a novel, and it's taken me about a year. So that is amazing to get anything done in 10 days. Right. Yeah. So that's very cool. So your wife obviously didn't know that it was supposed to be a proposal first and not a finished first draft.
She just wanted us to stop talking about it and do it. And she was right. And Mark and I have commented that we have he and I are the ones who come up with all the funny ideas.
Uh-huh.
And my wife and our friend Pat, who was the web wench, who has for 13, 14 years now managed our website, are the two who do all the heavy lifting.
That's right.
We're the ones who just sit back and have funny ideas.
That is a nice way to go. You have to have a team behind you.
The book that Tori made us write ended up we ended up calling the first draft of it "Well, Blow Me Down," and we self-published that, and that was what our agent took to meetings with publishers, and that's where Penguin finally got on board and said, "Yeah, we like this, but we need more. This is more of a manuscript, and we would like an entire book." So,
oh, okay. And how long did it take you to actually?
He keeps it up.
Yeah, how long did it take you to actually give them a finished version?
John, do you remember how long that was? I'm thinking
thinking
it was about 9 months or so from. It
Yeah,
felt
about-
like we were
about that.
birthing something.
About that. That sounds right. We would take a subject and he would write something and then pass it to me, and I would improve it and pass it to him, and then he'd take out the improvements and pass it back, and I'd put the improvements back, and we just kept going like ping pong until one of us just got tired and gave up. And that's how each chapter went.
That's so great. That's so great. So what, why do you think, I mean, obviously the Dave Barry, I wanted to say Todd Barry, that's completely different. The Dave Barry article, I'd love to see Todd Barry's take on the whole thing, but the Dave Barry article was obviously the catalyst for it. But what do you think was there some additional tipping point that really made it just go over huge with so many people?
Well, I think timing had something to do with it because Dave Barry wrote about us 1 year, almost to the day after 9/11/2001.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
you're right. 9/11.
Yeah.
1 year after. In fact, we had one DJ told us, "Oh, you guys are going to be big because you are a welcome relief from all the 911 stuff."
Yeah.
And it
So
was
we
also 1 year before the Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out. So we like to think we paved the way for Johnny Depp's success.
Johnny Depp owes us.
You know, honestly, I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about it today, and I think between you guys and the Johnny Depp movies, you've probably done more for bringing the idea and the characters of pirates back to a mainstream consciousness than probably anything that's gone on in a long time. Because those are the only two things that people who aren't in the pirate community really know about or talk about. They go, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean, and oh, September 19th is Talk Like a Pirate Day. And other than that, it's really an underground type of thing. So I think you guys have actually done a whole lot for that.
Well,
I
there was already.
I think what you're going to do, there was a fairly large pirate enthusiast population, but they were all kind of localized in different cities and places you wouldn't expect, like St. Louis and up in Canada.
Right.
And what Talk Like a Pirate Day did was give them a central focus point, if I can start using language that makes me sound like a pedantic asshole instead of my usual jocular self. But I do think it gave everyone a chance to poke their head up, look around, and go, hey, we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we were hearing about pirate-themed events from around the world, like car rallies in Moscow and drinking games in Ecuador. So it's just like, it was crazy pirate stuff all over the place.
We have heard from every continent, even the South Pole. There's a research station 50 feet from the South Pole, something like that, and they celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day.
That's amazing. That's so great.
Talk Like a Pirate Day was even celebrated on the International Space Station.
That's fantastic. Did you get a video feed or something of that?
We just heard about it.
Out there.
Oh, you heard about it. All right. That's so great to have something kind of blow up out of nowhere like that. It's sort of the definition of viral in the modern age that we live in here. And it had that was fairly early even in the whole viral thing anyway. I wonder if something like that could even happen again at this point.
I'm not sure. People have asked us, how do you make this happen? And we always say, we have absolutely no idea how to make this happen.
And I think that's a big part of our success was that we were never trying to be this big viral thing, and we never tried to say, "Oh, we're the inventors of Talk Like a Pirate Day. Bow down to us." We never did anything like that. We never took ourselves seriously. I think if we had, people would have been sick of us in 2 weeks, but we're just a couple of guys having fun with it.
Right.
And inviting everyone else to have fun too. And I think that's the biggest secret to its success.
Yeah.
It's not a secret anymore. Damn it.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, looking through your website and all the projects and things that you guys have done with it, that is the one thing that I noticed, was that you really are not taking it seriously at all. Were you guys even pirate fans like before this? Or I mean, were you like into the pirate scene or pirate movies or whatever?
I dressed as a pirate from the time I was 5 until I was 8 on like Halloween every year. That was my thing. I wanted to be a pirate, but
he was also the
only
only kindergartner with facial hair, so
it's true. It's true. The beard was a dead giveaway, but it was I don't think that John or I had any more inclination toward pirates than any other red-blooded American boy.
Yeah, we all just grew up watching the wrong movies and reading the wrong books, and pirates, you'd sort of learn. And what was interesting to me was you learn this stuff by osmosis, and you're not even aware you know it. Sure. But when we wrote the first draft of the book and got it out there, not a lot of people said, "Oh, this is all wrong." They all, it's just stuff you sort of know.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Now, when since you were coming from sort of outside the scene, even though you were a catalyst and sort of a glue for all the different little regional scenes, did you run into any problems with the real traditionalist historian types that are into, accuracy is everything type of stuff?
We do, but then we just laugh at them. And so...
and not so much, because, we've never said we are celebrating historical pirates and their activities, because as Mark always says, it's talk like a pirate day, not commit felonies like a pirate day. but I mean, what we're celebrating is that sense of freedom. And I think that's kind of universal, that desire for one day to be just a swaggering, bellicose buccaneer.
Oh, there's those big words again.
Yeah. Well, in one of the early interviews, I referred to it as piratitude, and that kind of just stuck. It's piratitude. It's the attitude of being a pirate.
Yes.
At least a pirate as we think in terms of like Robert Newton, the actor who played Long John Silver in the Disney movie. It's like that. Yeah. We actually should have just called it "Talk Like Robert Newton" in Long John's Treasure Island. But
I'm not sure that would have gone over. I'm not sure that we could have.
Too wordy. But if you go out on the street and you yell,
"The lucky ones!"
If you go out on any street and yell, "What does a pirate say?" Everyone's going to yell, "Arr!"
Right.
They just will. I mean, it's so much a part of the consciousness.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to Ray Stevenson, who's playing Blackbeard on Black Sails right now.
Ooh.
And Blackbeard was from Bristol, and that accent is the Bristol accent from Treasure Island.
Right.
I said, "Are you going to use the Bristol accent?" And he said, "We talked about it and we discussed it, and we decided not to because it's just so cliche that it almost pulled you out of the story that was going on."
Right.
And I have to assume now that is mostly your guys' fault.
It's not completely our fault, but we will take some responsibility for it.
We blame ourselves. And
we blame Jeffrey Rush too, because he had a whole lot of fun with Barbosa and doing that Cornwall accent.
Yeah.
Arr, yar, dar, we be.
You're right. That's great. So, John, you have a book called Chrissy Warren, Pirate Hunter, which I want to ask you about.
Yes,
now,
I do.
Except I keep thinking Chrissy Hind, Pirate Hunter, that's a whole different story, I imagine.
Completely different. I thought about it, but I couldn't get the rights to her name, so I went a different direction.
So I imagine there's no chain gang involved, but please tell me what the book is about.
Well, the book's about a 13-year-old girl in Hampton, Virginia, in 1718, whose father is a sailor, and he has sailed away on his his latest voyage and hasn't come back. And she eventually finds out his ship was taken by pirates, and she's convinced someone's got to go down and rescue him. And no one will do it. So she disguises herself as a boy, signs aboard a merchant ship bound for the Caribbean, and goes off in search of her father. And she makes new friends and runs through pirate attacks and press gangs and fights in alleys, and eventually tracks him down and has to rescue him from the pirates.
Nice.
It's a pretty good book, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And so, is it? I mean, it sounds like a distinctly different take from Talk Like a Pirate Day. Is it more of a serious type of story?
It is. It's got humor. I hope to God it's got humor in it. It's an adventure book. It's an adventure story. And part of how this book, I had written a first novel that my agent tried to sell and wasn't able to sell.
Uh-huh.
And I was feeling kind of bad about that for 2 days after he told me, it's dead in the water. So I was thinking, and I was reading something else, and I said, well, that's okay, but I can do better.
Uh-huh.
And I will do better. So I started this book. Now, my wife, who is the source of pretty much all the inspiration, was teaching 5th grade in a school in the Virgin Islands. And every Thursday, she had me come to her classroom and read the new chapters. Oh. And so I had to hold their attention, and I had to leave them wanting more. Uh-huh. And I wanted their feedback, and I will. My favorite bit of feedback I ever got was I read a chapter, and one of the girls in the class goes, "That was kind of boring." That kept you on your toes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
So every day I had to get their interest up and hold it. And every time when I'd finish reading, I'd go, and that's the end of the reading for today. And they'd all go, "Aww."
Yeah, there you
I
know.
don't know if it was because they really liked the book or it was just better than a math test. I don't know. But in any case, it felt really good. They're all credited in the back of the book. And I hope they've had a chance to get it and read it and recognize that the story that they helped build, eventually, it had a different title and everything back then, but it was, I don't see how anyone can write for that age group without having a classroom of 5th graders to bounce it off of. Sure.
Yeah. No, that seems like it would be very helpful. Where did the name come from? Why Chrissy Warren? It's sort of an odd name.
Well, Chrissy, I mean, it had to be a name that when it's a girl's name, but when she goes to sea, she becomes Chris Warren.
Okay.
So it had to be a name I could do that to.
Uh-huh.
And originally, her father's ship was the Gladys B. And originally, the name of the book was The Wreck of the Gladys B.
Uh-huh.
And after I was like on the 3rd rewrite, and my daughter, Millie, who was an actress, told me that she had dibs. When they make a movie of this, she has dibs on playing Chrissy Warren, Pirate Hunter. And I said, whoa, how stupid am I? That's the title.
Straight to the point.
And she does. She's got dibs on playing it.
That's great. So obviously your agent was able to sell that book, which is fantastic. Have you had any inquiries on making a film out of it?
Not yet, but we live in hope, don't we?
Of course. Absolutely. We never know who's listening to the show right now.
I have not been tapped by the Golden Claw yet. And there is a sequel. There will be a sequel.
Oh, great. That's good to hear.
But right now I'd already started working on a different novel, so I've got to finish that and go do the sequel.
Uh-huh.
It's also the one I'm working on now is also pirates, because that's that's my audience. That's my platform. So.
Apparently, yes. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I'll make sure to link that all up in the show notes so people can grab it from there. Definitely.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's an exciting book with a lot going on in it. So nobody has said anything bad about it yet, at least not to my face.
That's great. That's great. So what's in store for Talk Like a Pirate Day this year? Anything special?
We haven't laid out any plans yet, as far as I know.
I've had a couple of invitations to stuff on the East. You know, we're on opposite coasts, and that makes it difficult. I've had some invitations on the East Coast, and I'm sure Mark has heard from people who'd love to have them over on the West Coast, but it's just tough to get us together.
Yeah. See how lucky I am and the wonders of the internet.
The wonders of the internet.
All right. Well, guys, this has been super fun. So everybody can find all the information about Talk Like a Pirate Day at talklikeapirate.com. Where else is a good place to follow your guys' work online?
We have a Facebook page for International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Okay, great. I will make sure that is linked up as well. And John, do you have a book for your authory type of work?
Yes, I'm at Baur Life, BAUR Life.com.
Fantastic. That's great. So, yeah, we will send a bunch of people over that way and do the book. And I think pretty much anybody listening knows about Talk Like a Pirate Day, because if they don't, they're not allowed to listen to this show. So it's all right. Yeah.
What are they listening to a pirate podcast in the first place?
Exactly. Well, guys, this has been super fun. I'm really glad we were able to get this together and figure out how to get everybody online together. Anything else you want to tell the audience before that I didn't ask about or anything?
Thanks for having us on.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for spreading the word.
You betcha.
Word is, Arr.
Right. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. I hope we can talk again soon.
All right. Take care.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there it is, friends. That is my interview with Mark Captain Slappy Summers and John Old Chumbucket Baur from talklikeapirate.com. Fun. Glad we got those guys on the show. That was a really fun interview. Don't let the pirates, the modern pirates, get your identity, friends. Make sure you get yourself a LifeLock membership. It's real easy. It's real cheap. And LifeLock will go out and they'll scan all the dark, ugly parts of the web to make sure that your information is not out there for the people who want to steal it. And if it is out there, they will help you fix it. That is the best part, because you can't get that from the free credit monitoring things that you get with your credit card and things like that. So get yourself a LifeLock membership, 10% off a membership. If you go to underthecrossbones.com/LifeLock, click on Start Your Membership and get 10% off a LifeLock membership, and make sure that you are not a victim of identity theft, because it sucks. Been there, done that. I've also got a book for you, an ebook. It's The Pirates of Panama or the Buccaneers of America by Alexander Exquemelin. Great book, seminal pirate text that you should read if you want to have some great insight into pirate history. You can get it for free under thecrossbones.com. Just click on the free ebook link at the top menu there, and then if you're out and about and all you got is a phone on you, it's real easy to get it. Text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Text the word pirate and your email address to 94253, and it'll kick you back a link to get that book for free. My gift to you. We got some comedy. We got some music today, as always. We're going to hear from Nick Hoffman today. And Nick is, you may be familiar with Nick if you are in the West Coast pirate scene at all. Nick is a very piratey gent himself and a comedian, very funny guy. So we're going to play some Nick Hoffman comedy. And then we've got a song called Black and White from a band called Demon in Me. That is very cool. So let's dig into that. Here we go. Comedy from Nick Hoffman and music from Demon in Me.
My kid still breastfeeds. So for a lot of you, you're going, lucky. He's 2 now. That's appropriate, just so you know. It's not weird. But it's the cure-all. Like when he's too tired, she whips out a boob and he falls right to sleep. When he falls down and hurts himself, she whips out a boob and he's just fine. And I've told her, I'm like, that would totally work with me. I'm serious, because I could just see it too. She'd come home, she goes, honey, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm middle-aged almost, and I'm just not where I needed to be in my career at this time of life, and I'm sorry for the visual. Except for you, you're welcome for the visual. You betcha.
My body is aching, but I can't sleep. My mind is racing, but I still can't speak. My head is on fire, I pour myself another drink. Stitch me up, feed me all in your life. And not forgiving what's another lie. Wash out the bright life is easier in black and white. Save me
And that's our show for today, friends. Thanks for tuning in to underthecrossbones.com. Again, you can find all the show notes at underthecrossbones.com/034. If you want to find out more about Talk Like a Pirate Day, Mark Summers, John Baur, their books, and all the other stuff they're doing, go to talklikeapirate.com. If you want to find out more from comedian Nick Hoffman, you can find him at facebook.com/Nick Hoffman Entertainment. Hoffman with 2 F's and 1 N. And if you want to hear more from Demon in Me, you can go to facebook.com/DemonInMeCA, because they are a California band. Keep leaving those iTunes reviews. Keep telling your friends. Very much appreciated. Thank you for listening into the show. And next time, when you hear me, next week, I'll be back in California. I'll be back home in my home studio with a nice microphone and no head cold. So we can all look forward to that. All right? See you next time. Thanks again.